town council meeting at 7 o'clock. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. The next item on the agenda is public comments. No action will be taken on these items. Public comment is an opportunity for the town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items that not are on the agenda. This comment period is limited to 30 minutes of total time, with each individual allowing up to a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. You must sign up ahead of time. I have nobody signed up at this point. Is there anybody here who would like to make public comment at this time? Please step forward to the dais. Seeing none, I just want to make a note that we did receive an email, general public comment. We will add this to the record, and we will close public comment at 7:01. The next item is reports, items, and comments from mayor and council. Councilmember Rivero.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I have nothing today.
Councilmember Barrington.
We all attended a retreat for council on Friday, and I attended a Douglas County Housing Partnership meeting.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Attended the Legend Unified basketball game versus our police department and our retreat. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Wilkes.
Yeah, I got to go to, we got to swear in a new police officer at the Parker PD, which was fantastic to be a part of and welcome him to our town. And then I went to the Dragonfly Speech Therapy ribbon cutting, which was great.
All right. Councilmember Hefta.
We all attended the retreat, in which we really enjoyed that and got along really well, had a delicious lunch, and learned a lot about each other. And I also attended a local community gathering where I was asked to provide a quick update on town activities.
All right. As for me, I chaired an E470 Finance Budget and Audit Committee. We went through some audit and debt management items. I also chaired the Douglas County Transportation Forum for DRCOG. We talked about project funding recommendations. Good news, Parker is slated to get some funding for the State Highway 83 and Main Street roadway operations pre-construction project. And I also attended a DRCOG work session, which we talked about population cohort, household type forecasts, and a 2023-2027 area plan on aging. That is all. Thank you very much, everyone. The next item, consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered routine and will be enacted with one motion and vote. There's no separate discussion of consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion. Seeing that, I am happy to pull an item or entertain a motion at this point in time.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve consent agenda items A through G, please.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Rivero, a second by Councilmember Hendricks. Rivero.
Aye.
Barrington.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
And Dyack is a yes for 6-0. Thank you very much. We'll move forward to the public hearings. We have item A, Gladys O'Brien House MDP, continued from February 6, 2023, and to be continued till April 3rd, 2023.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would like to make a motion to continue Gladys O'Brien MDP to a date certain of April 3rd, 2023.
Second.
Thank you very much. A motion by Councilmember Rivero, a second by Councilmember Wilkes. Rivero.
Aye.
Barrington.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Wilkes.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
And Dyack is a yes for a 6-0. Thank you. The next item is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing at 7:04 for O'Brien Park L1 site plan. Ms. Hicken, please.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This evening I will be presenting the O'Brien Park Site Plan Minor Amendment Application Request. The property is located at the corner of Main Street and Parker Road. O'Brien Park is bounded on the north by a vacant lot owned by the town for future park expansion and institutional uses, to the east by commercial and residential uses, to the south by commercial uses, and to the west by office and commercial uses. The 10.67 acre property was annexed into the town in 1981 as part of the original incorporation of the town and includes a playground, ball field, pool complex, gazebo, parking, lighting, landscaping, and irrigation. The parcel's current zoning is Greater Downtown District, Town Center, and the site is located within the Main Street Master Plan character area of the Parker 2035 Master Plan. The proposed site plan improvements will update the landscaping on the west, south, and east perimeters of O'Brien Park as part of the P3 downtown placemaking improvements. Other than low walls, there are no structures proposed for the project. The fencing along Main Street will be removed, and the park edge will be enhanced to help guide pedestrians to crosswalks. Cut stones from the area surrounding the park, as well as Corten steel panels similar to those used on the Pace Center, will be used to beautify the park edge facing Parker Road. Additionally, a variety of landscaping materials will be used in varying the ground cover. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined the following. The project is consistent with the master plan and the Greater Downtown Historic Center zoning. All plating requirements for the land development ordinance have been satisfied, and all public notice requirements have been satisfied. Therefore, staff recommends that Town Council approve the O'Brien's Park site plan amendment. And this concludes staff's presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here to answer questions as well.
All right, thank you very much, Amber. Councilmember Hefta, any questions at this time?
Yes, can you tell me if this is within the Parker 2035 master plan?
That's a great question that maybe Bryce.
Wow.
Bryce can handle that one.
Yeah, Bryce.
So, while not specific, while this project is not specifically in the master plan, planning for parks and open space and trails is an important component of the plan, and this would align with those goals and strategies.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes?
Yeah, in regards to the new landscaping that's going in, it looks from the pictures that we're trying to approach a more kind of like a xeriscape landscaping or water conservation. It looks like a lot of it's natural grass and rocks and natural plants that we see grown here. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we'll be taking out some of the bluegrass turf along the edge there. And then the other part of the project is to remove that existing ornamental iron fence and just make it look a little more upgraded. And it still will create a barrier there, so people won't be able to go through and walk across Main Street. But yeah, the idea is to reduce water consumption in this project.
Perfect, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
I have no questions really about the project. I was reading the Planning Commission report and the referrals, and I just wonder if Parker Water's person understands that that's a public record. It seemed a little snarky in their response back to us. And I just was wondering if there was a chance for an educational discussion with Parker Water there.
Yeah, so what happened there is we started the playground project, and they had seen that going on, and they got a little confused on the playground project versus the streetscape project. So I did talk with Parker Water and worked that out.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
All right. At this time, I am happy to open it up for public comment. If there's anybody who would like to place public comment on this item, please step forward at the dais. All right, I will close public comment. Bring it back to council for any comments or deliberation. Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you. I definitely find that this meets LDO, and I would hope so, since it's in-house. But no, it's a long time coming. I know we've wanted to do this. We've wanted to get rid of that pedestrian safety fence for a while. We wanted to do with some natural landscaping and some beautification, and we've been after it for I don't know how many years, and I'm glad it's finally in front of us.
Councilmember Barrington.
No questions or comments, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No comments, thank you.
Councilmember Wilkes.
Just thank you guys. I mean, water conservation I know is important to all of us, and especially recently with everything going on. So I can appreciate that you guys are removing some of those water sucking things and putting in some more pretty things. So
Councilmember Hefta.
Yes, This will enhance the landscaping on the west, south, and east perimeters of O'Brien Park. These improvements will also add to the overall aesthetic beauty of the site, and the proposed site plan is in compliance with the Land Development Ordinance. Is that correct, Bryce? Thank you. Thank you.
Bryce, for the record, Bryce nodded yes. All right, with that, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I move to approve the O'Brien Park L1 site plan amendment based on staff findings.
Second?
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Wilks and a second by Councilmember Hefta. Councilmember Hefta.
Yes.
Councilmember Wilks.
Aye.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yes.
Councilmember Barrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera.
Aye.
And Councilmember Dyak is an aye as well. It's 6-0 unanimous. Thank you, everyone. The next item is Ray J. Harvey Open Space Site Plan. I will open the public hearing at 7:11. Ashley. Howard.
Good evening, Town Council and Mayor Pro Tem. This evening, I will be presenting the Harvey Open Space Site Plan application request. This property is located on the east side of town, directly north of the intersection of Canterbury Parkway and Main Street. The property is bounded to the north and the east by large lot residential properties in Douglas County, and to the west by a medium density residential subdivision within the town, and to the south by other residential parcels. The property is zoned as open space and is located within our planned development area. This 71.061 acre property was annexed into the town in 2018 and is zoned as open space. The undeveloped parcel includes an existing conservation easement held by Douglas County Conservancy, which limits the development on the property to preserve the open space long-term. Paper stuck. The proposed site plan improvements will allow for the public to access this valuable open space. The improvements include a loop walking path with educational features, covered seating, and vaulted restrooms and off-street gravel parking. The proposed improvements also allow for ADA access to the trail. Staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that 1, the project is consistent with the master plan, 2, that all zoning and plating requirements for the land development ordinance, including the open space zoning code, has been satisfied, and 3, all public notice requirements have also been satisfied. However, at the Planning Commission public hearing, 2 parties voiced concerns about the project, which resulted in the Planning Commission adding a condition to the approval recommendation. The condition states that all trash receptacles in the Harvey open space shall be wildlife-proof. And therefore, staff and the Planning Commission recommends that the Town Council approve the Harvey Open Space Site Plan with the condition outlined in the staff report. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And we also have Brett here to answer questions as well.
Brett, anything to add?
Only that I think this is an incredible project, and we should move forward with it. And the recommendation to put the wildlife trash can in is okay to move forward with, I think. That shouldn't be a problem.
All right. Councilmember Rivera, you have any questions for staff?
The only question I have is at what point or at what distance is the closest trail gets to a home?
The closest trail, the closest that a trail gets to a home, including their property, so their backyard is about 385 feet.
Wow, excellent, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington.
That was actually going to be one of my questions, because that's directly behind my neighborhood also. And there will never be the only structures that will be there is it a a shade structure or?
Yes, there is a handful of shade structures, and then there is a vaulted restroom. And those are the only physical structures, besides like signage for educational purposes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks?
With the addition of this parcel, do you have a rough percentage of open space and parks in the town boundary? If you haven't, I think from memory it was like 20%.
Yeah, typically we're trying to get 25%
Okay.
total open space from developers
Okay.
on a development project.
And for a town our size, I would from memory that's
Yeah.
a rather large percentage, right?
It is. Yeah, the town's done a really good job of getting open space dedicated through land development, and then also getting properties like this through Douglas County.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Wilks?
So same question that I had with O'Brien Park. We're looking at keeping native landscaping for water conservation, and any landscaping we add would be something that's going to enhance and not suck the water out, right?
Oh, yes, I don't believe we're doing any landscape improvements, so it's all going to be natural
Well,
grasses.
we do have 16 new pine trees going in for the project, and then about 30 rabbit brush, but those are all very low water requirements, and it'll be irrigated by a drip irrigation system and not sprayed into the air.
Perfect, thank you.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yes, the Parker 2035 master plan, does it recommend this area as low or medium density residential?
Are you talking about the Harvey open space?
Yeah, the master plan characteristic.
Oh, I think.
So that particular section of town is in the medium-density residential character area.
And then in the future, is there any plan for additional residential in that area?
So that is actually the edge of our planning area. So if you look at the development to the south and to the west, that's medium-density residential existing. Our planning area as of today ends at Harvey open space, so to the north and to the east is outside our planning area at this time.
Thank you. And that's 629 acres, about that, Harvey open space?
71.4,
71.4?
yes.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to open up to public comment. If there's anybody who has a comment on this agenda item, please step forward to the dais. Seeing none, I will close public comment and bring it back to the council. Councilmember Hefta?
This particular area was annexed into the town, I think, in 1981. Is that right? 1981, Bryce?
It was actually a recent annexation, I want to say 2 years ago, 2 years ago.
2018.
I'll look at the professionals, 2018.
Oh, 2018, but the zoning was back in 1981 for this area, wasn't it?
So the conservation easement was in 1996. The Harvey family dedicated that to Douglas County along with the property. So it's been in Douglas County ownership since then with the conservation easement on it. He had a life estate associated with it, so that was in place until he passed away. And then the town acquired it in 2018, and the conservation easement transferred over at that point.
Great, thank you. This is the proper place for open space in Parker. A lot of folks in Parker may not understand that there are proper places for open space. And those places don't exist along Parker Road. They exist in areas that are preserved and have been preserved for a long time and then come into town possession. And so this is a great place for Harvey open space.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilks?
Yeah, I'm just kind of, to what Councilmember Hefta said, this was a medium density area that we're now turning into open space and giving back to the community. So that's just fantastic. So thank you guys for all your work on that and keeping this pretty.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Yeah, I remember when news was first mentioned about acquiring this from Douglas County, and this is a big gift. A town's a town. Stuff is developed, but considering we have 25% dedicated to open space, I mean, here we're talking about open space right now, so we do pay attention, and it's going to be a great amenity for our citizens. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
I think this is wonderful that it's finally happening. I know Councilmember Hendricks has had his eye on this for a while, and I have just the proximity to where I've lived for the last 20 years. I think it's just a great addition to Parker's open space, and the fact that we're not going to be disrupting the wildlife that already is in and around there. The deer, I mean, we have everything there, and I think that is a really great addition with the trash receptacles being wildlife proof, because I'm sure there will be a lot of trash that goes in around there, because I'm sure it's going to be used a lot. So that was a great catch on the Planning Commission's part. So thank you.
Councilmember Rivera?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, I would like to make sure we give credit where credit is due. The forethought of Mr. Ray J. Harvey and the Harvey estate to put this land in a open space deed, and then to give it to the Douglas County Land Conservancy. And then I want to be very, very gracious to Douglas County to recognize that this is an asset that belongs in the town and is closest to the town, and thank the county very, very much for passing it along to add to our quiver of, as Councilman Hendricks said, a lot more open space. So it's a huge asset to the town. I am very, very excited that it's going to be kept in its natural state, and I want to make sure everybody understands that those were Mr. Harvey's wishes. He asked, or he stated, that this land I will give you, but you can only do X, Y, and Z on this land, and we've honored those asks, and we will continue to honor those asks with this action tonight in perpetuity. Thank you.
With all with all comments and deliberations satisfied, I'm happy to entertain a motion at this time.
I move to approve Ray J. Harvey open space site plan based on staff findings with the following condition: all trash receptacles provided within the open space shall be wildlife proof.
Second?
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember Hendricks, a second by Councilmember Hefta. Councilmember Hefta? For or against?
Oh, yes.
Wilkes?
Aye.
Hendricks?
Let me think about this. Yes.
Barrington?
Yes, and did we find it, when will this be done? I know time for questions are past.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Councilmember Rivera?
Aye.
All right, and Diak is an aye for unanimous 6-0. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brad.
Do you have a target?
By the end of the year.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll close public hearing at 7:23. Move on to the next item, ordinances. Ordinance number 9.355, second reading of bill for an ordinance to approve the second replacement intergovernmental agreement by and between the town of Parker and the town of Foxfield for municipal court services. Ms. Nguyen.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I am here before you tonight to ask you to approve the ordinance to approve the second replacement intergovernmental agreement to operate a combined municipal court with the town of Foxfield. In July of 1996, the town of Parker and the town of Foxfield entered into their first intergovernmental agreement where the town of Parker would provide municipal court services for the town of Foxfield. That IGA was entered into in 96, and in 2011, an updated IGA was entered into. No modifications have been made since 2011. So we have reviewed the IGA and have made updated changes to reflect the current status of what is occurring between the town of Parker and the town of Foxfield Municipal Court. The prior IGA talked about monthly payments. We are now billing quarterly as the amounts were not conducive to billing monthly. We have included payment for a substitute judge if a presiding judge is not going to be on the bench, since the town of Parker does pay hourly for substitute judges. We are adding separate payments because Foxfield does pay the judge and the prosecutor separately if they are handling court trials outside of the normal docket day. And we have updated the joint working group provisions, so they can now meet virtually once a year. Previously, I think they had 3 required meetings, and there are also specific timelines with respect to budget that we were not meeting because of the timelines where we provide our budget to council. Foxfield has approved the current draft of the IGA that we are presenting to you all tonight. With those changes, which are relatively minor in nature, there are no other changes. So we are asking town council to approve this draft as well so we can move forward and continue providing services to Foxfield. I'm
right.
open to any questions.
Councilmember Rivera.
Just for edification, does Foxfield have a sworn officer, or is it Arapahoe County deputies?
It's Arapahoe County. They do have some code enforcement that I believe is separate from Arapahoe County.
Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington.
What is the population of the town of Foxfield? I just recently found out that it was its own town.
I don't know the population. I do know that we probably have 8 to 10 tickets from there every quarter, if that. So they're pretty nominal what we get for them for traffic and code enforcement.
Thanks.
All right. Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Councilmember Wilks.
No questions.
Councilmember Hefta.
No questions.
All right. I'd like to open it up for public comment at this time on this item. If you'd like to have public comment, please step forward to the dais. Seeing none, I will close public comment, bring it back to council for comments and deliberation. Councilmember Hefta.
No, thank you for your hard work on this. It's been a while since the IGA was updated, so it's a good time to do it now, 10 years plus. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Wilks.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking into account the change and how much time it takes our judges to handle outside stuff and putting that into the IGA. So, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you. No comments.
Councilmember Barrington.
Thank you. No comments.
Councilmember Rivera.
No, I just appreciate Foxfield recognizing the best judicial system in the region is Park Municipal Court, and I love taking Arapahoe County dollars. So.
All right. With comments and deliberation concluded, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 9.355 on second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Wilks, second by Councilmember Hendricks. Rivera.
Aye.
Barrington.
Yes.
Hendricks.
Yes.
Wilks.
Aye.
Hefta.
Yes.
Dyak is a yes, unanimous 6-0. Thank you very much. With no further items before us, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:27. Thank you.
Should have taken the under.